My name is Austin Lord. I am one of the academic advisors for the College of Science and Math. I'm going to talk to you guys today about advising and degree requirements, just some kind of general requirements, general information about degrees, general education, classes, just a bunch of stuff. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with what is a degree made of? So classes are measured by units. Classes oftentimes 3 units. They can range from 1 to 5, but a unit usually reflects an hour of class time. So a degree is made of 120 units, and these units are broken up into different areas for your classes. For your major and additional major requirements, you're looking at between 48 and 70 units, depending on your major. And these would be classes that are not only the actual field that you're studying, so for example, psychology, biology, chemistry, math, computer science, but they are also some of the additional courses that you need as a foundation in order to move on in those types of classes, like again, the math, the chemistry, things like that that maybe help clarify or kind of build on the classes that you are taking otherwise. The next largest piece is general education, which we'll go into shortly. And these are classes that just give you a broader education, just more field, more things to study, and just kind of more exposure to everything. And then depending on your major, you may have some elective units available as well. And that's because if we add up, let's say 48 units for the psych major plus 49 units for general education, we get about 23 units that we're short of getting to that 120 total. So if psych students, for example, would need about 23 units of electives. Other majors, again, it varies based on what you take. But electives can be pretty much anything in the catalog. People ask me sometimes for a list of electives, and I tell them, well, it's whatever you want. These can be, more classes in your major. If there's some things you're really interested in, you want to take more coursework in. They can be another major, a minor, a certificate, some other fields of study, maybe even outside our college. They can just be fun classes. You can go take glass blowing on campus, fencing. I took, sword fighting for a semester, basically. So they can be fun classes as well. So electives are really units just for the sake of units, just to get you to the 120. But today I will mostly be focusing on general education and some other degree requirements, which we do have listed here under the 120 box there. So the English composition is one of the degree requirements at Fresno State. Everybody does have to take an English class and pass that in order to earn a degree. We do take AP English, any of the language and lit and comp, and I think there's 3 different tests. Any of the different combinations of AP we will take for this requirement. United States history is another degree requirement at Fresno State. Again, we will take AP credit for this, AP US. The US and California Constitution or government requirement, unfortunately AP Gov does not cover this requirement because it only covers, I believe, federal and state, or maybe just federal, and we do want federal, state, and local government requirements. So we do have another course for that. And then the other 2, the upper division writing requirement and the multicultural international areas, those are more so kind of junior, senior year. You'll take those a little bit later on, but they are other degree requirements. Just all of these are just kind of boxes to check along the way. Some of them are course related, some of them aren't. We'll talk about the English, the history, and the government a little bit more in general education. The other 2 are more just kind of making you aware. You'll hear more about them again, when you probably come in to see us, sophomore, junior year, we'll start bringing those up, the upper division writing, the multicultural international, and how you'll fulfill those. So instead, I just kind of want to move on to general education, and I'll show you guys the sheet. I'll kind of break it down into a couple different areas and give you some recommendations. So here on the left side of the screen, you do have the 2020 general education sheet. There are many versions out there floating around on the internet, so please be careful to use the 2020 version. This does change slightly every year, and sometimes there are bigger changes even. A couple of years ago, there was a big change to it. So definitely use this most current version. As you can see, there are different boxes in here. The first one is called Foundation, and that is the first quarter of the page or so. The next half of the page is made up by breadth, and then there's a dark blue line underneath that says integration. So those are the main big areas of general education, and we'll talk mostly about foundation and breadth today. The ones below that dark blue line, that's junior, senior level stuff. Again, I'm not going to go into that right now. And so I keep saying lower division, upper division. I'm calling things, by these names, so what does that mean? So lower division for everything, general education, major, everything. You can kind of think of lower division as freshman, sophomore level, and upper division as junior, senior level, roughly. It depends on the course, depends on the major. But that's about how they break up. And lower division is numbered 1 through 99, so anything double digits or less. Upper division is anything numbered 100 through 199. So triple digits all the way up to anything less than 200 is upper division. So the lower division classes are what we're going to focus on today. They are completed usually within your first 2.5, maybe up to 3 years. You will only select one course from each area. People see this sheet and they see all the different courses on here. It's probably hundreds of courses. I haven't gone through and counted. And they start freaking out. There's so many classes. Oh my gosh. But again, it's one from each area. So if you kind of see, and we'll zoom in on it in a second, but it's like A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3. You'll just kind of pick one from each area. And AP credit can clear some of these classes. So you may already be coming in with a couple classes done, depending on what you've sent us in terms of AP scores. So definitely send those in. That being said, we just recently obviously received the last round of them, from your senior year, that just ended in May. We would have just gotten those about a week ago. So we are still processing some AP scores. So give us a little bit of time if these are scores that you would have just found out about a week ago. And just to note, most health professional schools do not accept AP credit for most courses. So you may want to repeat some of these courses, even if you have the credit through AP, mostly for the science, the math, things like that. So definitely talk to an advisor if that is your goal, and that's you have this AP credit. And we'll be meeting with you guys all within your first year to where you'll definitely have that conversation, and we'll kind of make a plan and see what you should do. Again, the upper division GE, I'm not going to go really in depth. There are 3 courses meant for junior, senior students. So we'll talk about that, in the future with you, something you wouldn't even be able to start on for a little while. So I'm just going to blow up the foundation area and just zoom in on that one area right now. Foundation is made up of 4 courses. It's area A, but there's really an area B class in there too. It's kind of funny. So it's areas A1, A2, A3, B4. They're called oral communication, written communication, critical thinking, and quantitative reasoning, which is really math. So the first one, GE area A1, is, like I said, communication. So that's COM 3, 7, or 8, not COM 5. That is a GE class that does exist, that is out there, but it does not go in this area. So I see that a lot. People take COM 5 and they come and tell me, oh, I did my communications class already, I'm good. And I look at their, the transcript or the degree progress report, and I go, unfortunately, you did take a COM class, but not the one that you think you did. So just be careful with COM 5. You definitely want to do 3, 7, or 8. And we really do recommend COM 3 for any kind of pre-pharmacy, pre-med, dental, optometry, any of the pre-professional things. They usually want to see COM 3. That is a true public speaking, you in front of the class, giving speeches of different styles. Versus 7 is strictly persuasion. 8 is group comm. Most of the time, these programs want to see a COM 3 type of class, a public speaking class. Area A2, again, English, essentially, right? Written communication. This is that English box to check. Kind of, I talked about the English degree requirement is also part of your general education. There are 2 different routes to go in this. There's English 10, which is just one course, one semester. It's called the accelerated route, really. It's, all the papers, everything crammed into one semester. And then there's 5A, 5B, which is called the stretch option. So there's accelerated and stretched. 5A, 5B is 2 semesters. People ask me sometimes, well, can I just jump to 5B, or can I take 5A and 5B together to get it done? No, it is a full year sequence, full year course. And in order to kind of determine which one you should start in, we do use there's a written comm placement tag that might be on your account. Looks like a hold, it's kind of the same box, but it's really just a notification or a status. So written comm placement, if you see that on your account, we do recommend you enroll in English 5A or 10 for the fall. Again, depending, it is up to you in terms of, which English class you want to start in, the 5A or 10. But if you do have that tag, we do want you to start on that in fall. If you don't have that tag, you can definitely hold off till spring, take English 10 over there. We don't want to fill up all the English classes in fall, have nobody taking them in spring. We do want to balance people out. So if you don't have that written comm placement tag, feel free to just leave that off for the next semester, and we'll fit other classes in there. For area A3, again, critical thinking, there are lots of different subjects in here. If you are one of our bond students, you do have CSM 10. That is your critical thinking class. That already fulfills that area for you. So that is, again, that's where Com 5 goes. So I really don't want to see Com 5. That is a double no-no right there. That is not going in communication, and you already have a critical thinking class. I don't want to see Com 5 especially. But really anything from A3. You know, if you have CSM 10, that is your A3. That is your critical thinking. You're good. So now we're going to move down to the breadth area of general education. This is the rest of the lower division classes, essentially. So really quickly to break it down, area B is science, C is arts and humanities, D is social science, E is lifelong understanding and self-development. I say it's a grab bag. It's just kind of a random mix of stuff. Area B, a lot of these are going to be double counted within your major for the, you know, the biology majors, the chemistry majors out there, environmental science, physics. A lot of you are going to be taking a lot of these types of classes anyways. They're going to go in there. B1 for physical science, B2 for life science. So I'm not going to cover those too much. If you know that's within your major, we'll cover that with you, and you're going to be hitting those. Area C, if you are pre-med, we do like to recommend English 20 in one of your C2 classes, which is humanities. And I say one of your C2 classes. If you notice, there's only C1 and C2, right? Everything else tends to have 3. It's A1, 2, 3, B1, 2, 3, D1, 2, 3. C is kind of different, right? C1, C2, but you do still take 3 classes. So you have to take one from C1, one from C2, and then you get to take a third one from either or. So that is your choice then, which area you want to go back to. Do you want to go back to arts? Do you want to go back to humanities? Which one? So for one of these classes, we do recommend English 20, and then you still get, you know, maybe 2 C1s if you want, or another C1 and a C2. But if you are going into any of these pre-professional programs, they usually want to see a full year of English. So that is our recommendation. Also note with the language classes to be careful. Not all of them are in GE. So if you look at area C2, it's mostly languages. And most of them do start with the 1A class, the very first one, you know, first part, welcome to the language kind of class. However, there are 4 that do not. That is communicative sciences and deaf studies. The class would be 91, that is American Sign Language Part 1 is not listed in here. French 1A, German 1A, and Spanish 1A. So those 4 do not start with the first class. I called those the high school languages, typically around Fresno. Those are the 4 most commonly taken in high school. So we don't let you just jump into the most intro class because you've probably had some experience with one of these languages already. So just, you know, take care when you're enrolling in the language classes. Area D, if you're pursuing a pre-professional pathway, going into, again, any of these pre-professional programs, you probably want to take Psych 10. That is usually a requirement for any of the, you know, especially pre-med, pharmacy, you know, any of those types of classes. They do want to see a human behavior class. And if you're a psych major out there, Psych 10 is part of your major, so it's already clearing general ed as well as the major class for you. So that's awesome. Also in there is the US history and the political science classes, and they're pretty much, that's the only options in those. Area E, if you are in our bond program, again, I don't want to see anybody in Area E because you will get your CSM 15 class in the spring that we give to you, and that is an Area E class. Other than that, it's kind of a free-for-all. If you're not in bond, have fun. If you are, hold off on that one. So we're going to talk about math. I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible. It does get a little complicated. Right now, I am just talking to the psychology majors out there. Everybody else, doesn't plug your ears, don't really do that. You can pay attention, but really this is for the psychology majors. Most psych majors, you will be taking Math 45. That's just an intro math. It's called What is Math? It clears general education. It's about as far as you need to go. However, some pre-professional health you know, careers will require calculus to get into their classes or into their programs, med school, for example. So if this does apply to you, if you know you're going to some sort of program like that and you're a psych major, then hold off and we'll talk about that on the next slide. Otherwise, for psych majors out there who are not going to take calculus and they know that for sure, you're in one of 3 groups. If you're category 1, that means GE math is satisfied. You took something at a community college, you have AP credit, whatever it is, your GE math is done, you're good. If you're category 2 and 2C, Math 45, again, that's the class that you should be taking. Category 3 and 4, Math 45L is the recommendation there. That is a supported Math 45 class. You have a little bit more time with either another instructor or another student kind of helping you through the material. But again, it's all based on Math 45. So from there, we'll move on to calculus. And this is where we have a lot more information. So this is for every other major in the College of Science and Math, as well as the psych students who know they want to go to some sort of pre-professional program. We're going to use those same category titles. Again, that will be found on your account. The Math QR placement, a lot like the written com placement that I mentioned earlier. If you have Math QR placement, then you're in categories 3 or 4. If you don't, you're in 1 or 2, and we can show you how to find that information out. So again, category 1 here does mean GE Math is satisfied. You have something that clears general ed math. We don't know what that something is, or we might know, but it may not be calculus. So if you have GE Math satisfied, but it's maybe AP Stats, or you took a pre-calc at Fresno State, you still need calculus for your major, so you do still need to follow the pathway for that, which is what I'm going to discuss here in category 2 and 2C. So there are 3 different options for calculus. The first one is only for biology majors, and it's really only for biology majors who don't want to do some sort of pre-professional program. They typically don't like this class, this Math 70. It is called Calculus for Life Sciences. It is a very brief overview of all types of calculus and math material that you might use in a life science career, not including pre-professional stuff. So it is just a very broad stroke of a math class. Again, not hugely recommended. Math 75 is calculus. Math 75 A and B is the stretch option for calculus. So that should sound really familiar, right? The accelerated and stretch, just like English. So Math 75, 1 class, 1 semester, and you go through it all. 75 A and B, 2 semesters, can't take them together, can't take them in the opposite order. It is A, then B, 2 semesters in a row, stretch option. If you have a 3 or higher on the AP Calculus AB or BC tests, you have Math 75 done already. Congratulations, you are category 1, you have GE Math done, you have calculus. If not, then in order to get into one of these calculus classes, you do have to do the ALEX exam, which is an online testing system, which I'll get to in a little bit, or an A or B grade in high school calculus. So even if you took AP, you didn't hit the score. I just actually had a student emailing me about this today. If you have an A or B in the class, you can still potentially get into calculus without taking the ALEX exam. I'll go over that in a moment. And if you're not ready to go into calculus, because not everybody's ready to start right away into a calculus class, we do have other classes we recommend. Math 5, Math 6, or trigonometry, pre-calculus, and we do recommend that you enroll maybe in one of these as a placeholder class until you get into calculus. If one of these is open, put yourself in the class, and that way if you take the calculus test and it says, not quite yet, go brush up on some stuff, then you're already in that class to go brush up on stuff. Categories 3 and 4, we do recommend this Math 3L class that is algebra. That would lead you then into that Math 5 or Math 6 to get you ready for calculus. So again, if you see that Math QR placement on your account, you'll be looking for Math 3L today. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys just an image of everything that I was just saying. Picture's worth 1,000 words. I already spent my 1,000 words, so here's a picture. Take a screenshot, take a picture with your phone. This just kind of breaks it all down. Top portion is, again, categories 1, 2, and 2C. You are ready to go into the class or ready to go into Math 5, Math 6, Math 45, one of the calculus classes. And the bottom below that purple line is categories 3 and 4, and those are with the supported math classes, Math 45L, Math 3L, a little bit more time spent going over the material, or some extra time with somebody. So hopefully everybody got a picture of that by now. And then I will quickly mention the testing into calculus part, and then we'll move on. Again, so the test is called ALEX, A-L-E-K-S, and the score on this online placement does determine which class you can get into. There's a link here on this slide. Obviously, this will take you to that page to get a math department website that includes all this information. It's got all the information on the scores, the passwords, the codes to get in, everything that you'll need. If you have AP credit in calculus, you don't need to test in. You already have calculus credit. You may want to retake it for med school or something. Or if you have an A or B grade from high school, again, let us know. If that is you with the A or B grade and you want to get into a calculus, you can email us there at arc, A-R-C, at csufresno.edu. Give us your name, your ID number, please, and a digital copy of your high school transcript to verify that you do have those grades. Again, the website is here, so definitely take a look at that for all the info on Alex. The sooner you start on this, the sooner you can get into those math classes and then, get that test score on your account. So definitely start looking into that soon.